Present.
District Attorney Hennings.
Absent.
Commissioner Zapatowski.
Absent.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
Commissioner Rossini.
Here.
Controller Jane Brennan. Jan Brennan.
As a result of the roll call, we do have a quorum, so if you all stand. For a moment of silence. Now, please join me in saying the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody has a copy of the minutes from last meeting.
Here they are, here, everybody.
Is this a correct copy?
Yeah.
This is a correct copy. There's two changes made there. One was a spelling error, and one was a time preference. Right? Everybody had an opportunity to look those over. Anybody have any questions? I need a motion to approve the minutes by March. I'll make the motion, need a second. I have a second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye?
I'm gonna abstain. I think there were some, I don't think there was zero in here, and it shows that I got those there. Oh,
Yeah, it says, I put it in when you came.
No, okay, I abstain.
Item number 7. No, item number 6, I'm sorry. Public comment on agenda items. Anybody here from the public? Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Is, well, I have,
You call for the record, please.
Rick Collins,
Okay.
and I have a question that to present to the board with regards to something that I think we could be doing. When is the proper time
Under
to?
public comment, sir, I'll give you an opportunity.
Under number 11, sir.
I'm sorry.
That's-
Okay,
no, that's
I didn't
okay.
get the agenda.
Hey.
Thank you.
Number 6 is if there's anything, if there's any members of the public who want to comment on number 7, 8, 9, or 10. I know that they are
We'll
on,
get you in there under number 11.
right.
Anybody else?
Why don't we under 11?
All right, sir. We want the approval of April 3rd, anything else in the board? I see that our rentals come down. Yeah. Anybody have any questions on the bill? Need a motion to,
Sorry for being late.
pay the bills?
Move.
Excuse me, let the record reflect.
Move, Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Move.
Okay, I have a motion, I need a second. I'll second. Any questions or discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? So moved. Brian, control the population report.
For population, we have, currently we have 185 males, 29 females, for a total in-house population of 214. We have 21 males housed at Greene County, 1 female at Greene County, and 1 male at Bedford County.
Any state?
State, we have 15 inmates leaving next week. I don't wanna say.
No, we don't say the date and time here.
Right, leaving next week. Since we have 214 in-house, can any of these, Greene and Bedford be returned shortly since, we
They'll
have?
probably be coming back. We have inmates coming back for court next week. So as soon as we get those numbers back, we'll know exactly how many we can send, we can bring back.
Okay.
It's tough to bring it back right now, because we have no idea what the district attorney wants about bad public defender and so forth for the court, right?
Yeah, that's why he said he's gonna wait.
We should know, we should know today.
Item number 10, anything under personnel?
I'm Denise Stepanek, the new HR director, and just want to let everybody know that there is no need for votes at this time. We have been working 3 disciplinary actions involving union and non-union members. But we have recently hired new legal counsel, and we want to give them an opportunity to review all 3 cases before we present this to the board. If, based upon their opinion, there would be a need for a prison board vote, we will approach and schedule a separate special session for the board at that time.
Is there any new hires?
We have no new hires.
I just wanted to comment, they come to our commissioners meeting, folks from Alcoholics Anonymous, and I just wanted to offer my thanks and appreciation to the warden and Barry Krawcheck for proceeding with providing meetings. Is that correct, Warden? And they did it at Wolf Street. I think the first meeting is tomorrow. That's very well. And that's a whole part of the process.
Number 8, is there anybody in here that's here for medical condition and get rid? Did you know?
You keep your eye on that. We have one that we did, Judge George helped us out on, okay, and you usually will.
One thing too, I'd asked if we can get clarification on Act 22, which was the act that the state adopted that provided medical coverage for inmates that were DPW eligible upon admission to the correctional facility. I had spoken with Crime Care 2 weeks ago, and they had explained to me, and it didn't make sense, that that was not applicable, and that the federal government sends them a check for providing services. So I'd like a little more clarification on that, even if we have to follow up with Crime Care, or more importantly, maybe get the legal counsel, the solicitors to take a look at it. If something just doesn't make sense there.
That would be John Hubbard. I will do John Hubbard, since he's the chief officer, and he can assign it to either one or the other.
No, thank you.
Just want to welcome you to HR director.
Yeah. For your first endeavor here, it's been outstanding.
Anything else on personnel? Anybody? Ward?
A little bit,
Nothing?
not right now.
All right, you want to comment?
Can I make a comment on it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
For the record, your name is.
Frank Rutherford, one of mine workers. The reason I come here is I thought there was going to be a vote taken on some of the discipline actions, but I guess Denise said there wasn't. And we can have legal review to determine what the amount is, and we're new with each other in meeting, but I think that we have to come to an understanding on exactly what vaudeville hearing is, okay? The individual has to be given proper notice ahead of time in order to prepare himself. And what they say is the best evidence is, the best evidence should be presented there so the individual can answer to it. Now, if we have a video of what happened, or assumption what did happen at that time, I think that individual ought to be able to view that video when he's making his comments or defending himself as a lawyer. And we didn't have a chance to do that, and I don't think it's fair upon the individual. Okay, we judged by somebody else that's looking at the actual video.
To interpret the action,
What's that?
to interpret the action of the video. What are you talking about?
You don't want to get too much involved in the person.
Was this recent, before Denise, or,
This is after Denise.
Let me ask you this before you
Okay, but the board's gonna take action?
At this time, no.
Anybody else under public comment? Go ahead, one of you. I give you both a chance.
All right. Again, Rick Carlos is my name, and I just wanted to bring up about using the inmates, the better behaved inmates and that sort of thing, perhaps for road cleanup or some kind of community service. You know, and I personally think that it would be good, you know, for Fayette County. It's this, if things didn't look so bad. I live up on Wharton Furnace Road, and it just looks like a place where you drive up and throw out your garbage.
Right.
And, you know, I think that it would be an incentive for inmates that good behavior, that if they were to be able to get outside and to do something like that. I mean, I'm sure that they would want to do.
It also could be used to pay off their fines.
Well, and there are many things that can be done. As I printed out an article from, there's the state of Wyoming, the things that they do. I mean, you know, they clean, the cleaning of sportsman clubs, buildings. I mean, there's a long list, service by inmates. Conservative camp, boot camp, Newcastle, they clean up fairgrounds. You know, there's just Habitat for Humanity, work along with them. There's things that they can be doing. I'd certainly like to see.
I'll let the sheriff comment on this, Rick.
Okay.
The state does provide a workforce, but I'll let the sheriff comment as to what
I've
our
attempted to
problem
do
is.
that for years, not with the current administration, but I need the personnel to watch them. I had it all set up, township supervisors, furnish lunch, furnish bags, and I need people to be able to supervise them. Because I thought being tourism, and like I say, it's not under the current administration, or, it's been years, I just finally gave up on it. Maybe I should have attempted with the new board of commissioners, but it was, after a while, you get tired of trying. Tourism is our biggest attraction. It's not very damn attractive when you see garbage on the road. There's guys that are in jail for stealing a candy bar. We put them out, and these guys would love to get out of prison just to, you know, pass their time away. It would help pay their fines off and so forth. The budgets have never been able to allow me the personnel to do it. Give me at least 4 people.
I think it's something that we need to take a look at, because it encompasses our mission as of the last year and a half, 2 years, even longer than that, which is really truly trying to reduce the rate of recidivism, you know, rehabilitate the inmates, and provide them with, I'm not gonna say cleaning highways is job training, but it does provide them with that personal pride of a job accomplished, and gives them that feeling of pride. You know, a lot of times folks up there have a feeling of despair. That, you know, their future is either county or state, depending on the progression of things. You know, it's our job as a society to avert those type of thoughts the best we can. And I agree, the sheriff would bring up a proposal, I'd be more than delighted to look at it.
It goes a lot simpler than that, sir. If you pull minutes just within the past year, you will see that I brought up to have a work release program. There's two things. There's a work release program and there's a work program, okay? Work release program obviously is the individual leaves and is employed elsewhere. A work program is that we have our certain inmates that are permitted to either come inside this courthouse and clean, go outside, right across the street, and I brought this up at this prison board meeting, okay? And it was the inspection report, the DOC inspection report even addressed the programs, which is the work release and the work program, okay? Saying that it needs to be done. Across the street, when I brought this up a couple of months ago, it should be in the minutes, across the street, we had inmates over there with the correctional officer, and they were cleaning up, you know, Nemacolin courtyard where Joe Hardy owns it. I watched them out my window. The correctional officer is standing there, he has 2 or 3 inmates, those inmates are cleaning up the garbage, doing that. Also, we have our inmates during the day go with correctional officer in our building and grounds for our county parks, okay? So it's not something that, you know, you have, it's not reinventing the wheel.
Exactly.
We've had the work program, we've had it, I don't know if we've had it here with the current warden, I know for sure we've had it in the formal warden. And I actually think we had it, and I specifically asked the warden, and he gave his reason as to why, he was not implementing it at this time, and the board, the majority of the board said fine. And the two reasons were, and warden, you know, if you wanna chime in after I'm done, that's fine. There were two issues. Number one, you have to have the correction officers, they have to have the training, okay, for the work release, which they do. But secondly, if we have 2 or 3 inmates with a county employee, we used to have our county employee who was on our building and grounds, can't think of his name right now, we all know, Fred. Fred, and he was in charge of buildings and grounds. He was certified, okay, he wasn't a correction officer, but he was certified, and he took either 2 or 3, I know there was a maximum of 3. He would take the 3 in the vehicle with him, with one person with 3, go to our county parks, cut the grass, pick up, you know, and bring them back. So it has been done, it's been done in my administration, it's been done, I think, Warden, just, you know, then you can talk if you want, just, did we do, it while you were, Warden?
When
Wasn't
Fred,
there a few?
I think there was,
There was a few.
in the onset, yeah.
when Fred had
And
retired.
what,
Yeah, when Fred left.
when, the warden said that there were 2 issues, and number one is, the other issue is the contraband. Okay, you had mentioned at the prison board meeting, and I disagreed with that. I did think that if you look in the policies, it does say that the individual who is certified to oversee this can determine whether or not, you know, the search should occur when they come back. If you are watching that individual, like I watch them across the street, and if you see that they're taking the garbage, I think that the policy says that it's up to the correctional officer to determine whether or not a search should be done, plus it's the warden, and he said he needed some, additional space and manpower, I think, to do that. And so it can be done, it's just, it's not being done now. And it's up to, you know, the prison board to say, yes, take one building and grounds, for now it's called Public Works, have 1 or 2 of them go through the certification, and then allow that individual to take up to 3 to our county parks, and they help out.
Well, then I'll make that in the form of a motion.
I have a motion, just to,
Is that something that you, I mean, I don't.
There's a motion on the floor.
Right.
I'll make the form of the motion that we,
There's not a motion until there's a second. If someone wants a second, it, then I'll give you, then we need your input.
well, then just speak the whole motion.
Yeah,
motion that the county would implement another work release program, but, work program, with inmates currently sentenced, to the Fayette County Correctional Facility, that we would, explore, the best candidate to be certified or to seek certification, to watch over and ensure that the work is being done, contraband is not being brought back, and that we proceed accordingly. If we're gonna do it, let's do it.
That's right. I'm adding in that motion that the warden, one of the deputy warden, the final say is.
That's,
Those are readings, right?
I have no problem accepting
Yeah.
it as a part of the motion.
I have a motion on the floor, need a second.
I'll second.
I have a second. Any questions or discussion?
Warden. There is a policy, okay, so you don't have to recreate a policy, okay? So I'm not,
We already have a
right, there's a policy, and I'm not gonna by virtue of a vote change policy
All
that
right.
you guys wrote in DOC,
All I'm gonna ask is the person who takes them out,
yes.
as long as they have the DOC training, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. And what changed from the last time, whenever, a couple months ago, whenever I was going to do this?
Well, I didn't have a problem with it then, but at the we didn't know if they wanted a corrections officer to do it, to go out with the inmates, the sheriff's deputy to do it, building and grounds person to do it. Now, if the building and grounds person does it, naturally, they're gonna have to add a building and grounds person, because that guy will be out.
If I may, let me rephrase it. It's to revisit the existing policy, I would add that at the beginning of my motion.
Is the policy, written? Is it completed?
Yeah.
That particular, the work program policy? Is totally complete? Okay, so it would be to, implement that policy, because it's already written. We don't, I mean, I'm not gonna rewrite it, because,
No.
and I won't do it in a motion, because it was already written by, staff, and it's already been approved by DOC, correct?
Well, this
Okay,
is,
so it would be to implement, the work program.
but since it's been stopped, as I said, we will revisit and you use the word implement the policy, and the rest of the verbiage is, you know, based on the policy, so. I mean, again, if we're gonna do this, it's gonna take, as was stated earlier, it would take an act of the prison board. And that act must be taken in the form of a vote.
Which is
Um,
what, like I said a couple months ago, I wanted to get it
Well, I
started
just-
in spring, so we could,
Well, I just made the motion, so let's
What's-
roll with it or not.
In addition, Warden, I believe that I would like to see a implementation plan, which includes costs, and potentially what type of projects that you feel that we could do for the public, and also how many people that you think can be part of this program,
Brian,
in terms of inmates.
Ward, when I used to, in my previous congressional life, Washington County, Congressman Mascara, when he was commissioner, he used to have a work program. And obviously, we've had one, but it might be good to make comparisons with other counties, whether they're fourth class or otherwise, just to see, you know, how they are doing it in the year 2015. We haven't been doing it since the year 2010, perhaps even earlier than that, because I know Freddie retired.
we did it since Fred.
No, we have not done it since
Yeah,
Freddie.
we have, I watched, Bill Cranky across the street take them over.
Well, that would,
Well, that wasn't part of the work program.
What we need to do, we need to make sure that it does not, we have to make sure that we understand what the parameters are, okay? In order to do this, at this point, it would be a building, a public works employee, okay? And they have to agree to do it. That's the first thing. Can't make them do that. And they have to do certification. And then it should be, as it only relates to county, projects right now. There's no way that we can send someone, it's too new. Think about it. We can't have, like the historical societies or some of these, they can't, they would have to be trained as well.
That's why.
So we have to wait, you can do the, helping the grass cutting, the county parks, some outside work, as well as our courthouse related internal.
Now, let me ask you this, how many inmates does the board, are we talking the same number? We used to have 3, do we wanna make that?
well, I think that's
Why
something
do
that
we
we can
wanna
sit
make it
down
10?
and discuss either at the next month's meeting or even earlier, depending on the progress you make between now and the next couple of weeks. I mean, I think we can decide whether or not we can increase that workforce. I personally think we can and should, for a number of reasons. Primarily, the investment we're making in the inmate, and I think that's an important facet here. Again, we didn't do this for a while, so as Commissioner Zimmerling stated, it's kind of, once you learn to ride a bike, you never forget, but you squeak a little bit and wobble the next time you're on.
You only have, how many public works employees do you have during the day? You only have, I think, 3. So, and you can, and did you not say that the certification, that the inmate, per person is the max is 3?
Sheriff,
Right.
Are your
I
deputies
believe it's,
certified?
I believe it's between 3 and 5.
3 and 5.
It's 17,000.
We have also have, so we could rely on sheriff's deputies as well, it's to be to oversee the program too, or to be a part of the program.
That's fine.
You could
As
bring-
long as they have the DOC certification, I don't have a problem. So I think that's a,
Now, what are we
That's a
talking about now,
2-week.
building and grounds or COs?
Well, let's crawl before we walk and then walk before we run. I mean, let's get the thing started. I mean, we won't know where until we begin.
All right, and then from, can we, let's find out where the jurisdiction of the COs is going to fall within it. And I don't want to see 5 other employees clutching the COs, which could create more CO positions for the union.
No problems with that at all, Frank.
We still have a motion?
Yeah, I mean, until we begin it, and
I need a second.
I believe you had one.
I have one. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
William Jones. I just have just a question, and this involves, whether it's general practices or whatever phrase you want to use, when it comes to disciplining, the unruly ones, the unruly inmates, causing trouble and all that stuff. Is it considered common practice, to hose them down? Just keep in mind that, I can provide witnesses.
is
I
it
already know
common
the answer to the, right?
practice?
Yeah, is it common, as a practice, or is it just part of the disciplinary process, for someone who's unruly, causing trouble and other stuff? Like I said, it's just a question.
It's not something we do.
Well, yeah, it is, but
It's part of our, this is part of our control, but, I mean, if we have to do that, it depends on a situation.
Yeah, I understand the situation. I was just wondering
I mean, if
if
there's
it,
a fire on the range, and we're trying to put a fire out, and we're spraying inmates,
no,
unfortunately, they're gonna get sprayed.
yeah, I understand, I get that part. I'm not talking about emergencies like fires or anything like that. I'm talking about, if an individual inmate is being unruly, causing trouble, and you're concerned that that behavior might spread to others. And, do you use hoses on them then?
If they're using water hoses at that time, I'm unaware of it. And if
You are now.
if you give me the-
you are aware now.
Well, if you give me the information and give me names, I'll investigate.
I'm working on that.
I'll investigate it.
Okay.
I will do that.
Anything else, Mr. Jones?
Well, the second one, it actually goes back to, under population. It just thought of it when we were on that subject. And that is, how can I go about getting a list of, I don't want names of inmates, but, just, how many people are in here for specific charges?
The classification.
Yeah, yeah.
John had a copy of that from last year. We need another one.
I can
You
update
know,
it.
red, blue, yellow, that's your classification code, right? I think that's your.
Yeah, how many people you have for this, that's here on, say under this charge or this charge, that sort of thing. Basically, I wanna, what I'm looking for is a separation of those who are here for violent offenses versus non-violent offenses.
Is that something that you talked to Amy Revac about?
Not yet, but I'm just proposing how do
Well,
I
I
go
think
about
what he's
that.
indicating, Mr. Jones, is you might have to file the right to know.
Goes to the right to know.
Right to know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem
Can
doing
I,
that.
can I ask you a question? I'd like to see one that would give me a better understanding as to, you know, why we still have rentals when we have, you know, some space. And just to better understand your, you know, as you phrase it, you can't classify, you know, I'm just gonna say reds and greens because they're violent offenders with the blues and the pinks, they're non-violent offenders. So I'd like to see it myself.
Yeah, good.
How do you want that broken down, felony, misdemeanor, something?
I'm sorry?
Felony, misdemeanor, and summary?
Felony, misdemeanor, summary, is that what you read?
Yes.
Mainly, the main reason for that is, one of my passions, if you will, is, my focus is on the non-violent ones. Those who commit violent offenses, they get what they get. But, the ones that are here for, say, victimless crimes, i.e. fines and things like of that nature, my belief is that there should be other alternatives besides incarceration for them. And, those are the things that my personal passions for. That will free up space for those that should be here.
We're seeing that, Mr. Jones, and I don't know the number. The DRC is, anybody know what number they're at right now? It was in
I wanna-
the A's.
I wanna
Was
say
it not?
it's around 80. Is what I wanna
And the
say.
DRC is designed for that purpose, so these are individuals that are not incarcerated. They have to do a action plan set forth by the court, as well as what the DRC has for them. And that, part of that is job training, part of that is life skills, part of that is, drug testing.
Are we aware that the computer systems at the DRC are down more than they're up?
Catherine, I can't answer that question on a regular basis, I couldn't tell you, it's hard enough to predict whether our computers are down or up.
Well, they are.
I will check with him early.
Okay, where was I going with that? And to piggyback on what this gentleman was saying, when I was in the service, we had a program for those who were under Article 15 charges, non-judicial punishment type charges, weeds and seeds program, what we call. Basically, those individuals, were the ones who were responsible for whether any painting need to be done, cutting grass and things of that nature. So if it can be done in the military, it can be done here too.
And we just start.
Yeah, so I just want to throw that out there.
It's very simple. We get our employee to go through the certification, and then it's assigned, and as I said many months ago, we need them to come here and do the courthouse cleaning, as well as our county parks. I'm glad to see finally that it's been resurrected.
We pay the transfer in workers, right, in case we, right?
Well, we've lost about 4 or 5 months because we could already be out there cutting grass and doing things.
Anybody got anything else? Any more public comment? I apologize